So we're going to talk about what I call text pyramids. You might have seen them referred to as, oh, I need to fix my screen a little. It's not, I need to have it centered or it will drive me nuts. Sorry. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay, so they're called text pyramids, but you might see them referred to as reading pyramids. I use both interchangeably, so I'll say text or text pyramid or reading pyramid. Okay, so let's begin. So text pyramids, just to kind of give you like a overview of what they are instructionally, they're very targeted, direct, and explicit. So we've talked about in previous trainings about a balanced approach, and some things are a little bit more implicit or indirect, and some things we do with our students are very targeted. Well, text pyramids or reading pyramids are an example of a really targeted activity, and you'll see why, because you really can get very specific and create these to meet your students' needs. You could really use them with multiple grades. So if you're a primary teacher, or if you teach emergent readers, if you teach older students, there's an adaptation for almost every level of student, and which is why I like them, because sometimes we can be teaching several levels. We almost always are teaching several levels of students in our classrooms, and they all have different needs, and it's always nice when we have an activity or a strategy that we can really tailor it easily to all of our students, and that's why I love these. They can be easily differentiated, which is what I just spoke about, and you'll see exactly how to do this in just a moment. Another thing is that they are super versatile. So you can use them for phonics if you're teaching emergent readers. Spelling, they help with students learn orthographic features in words and text, and morphology. Vocabulary, they help with fluency, and you'll see that you can also tie them into grammar, which is kind of nice too. And when I talk about fluency, they really kind of hit on a number of fluency skills. So we've talked about, rate and accuracy, prosody, and comprehension. Well, those first three can really be targeted quite a bit, and then because of that, the last one, comprehension, is also improved. But text pyramids are really, really effective for almost every single pillar of reading fluency. Okay, so multiple applications. As I've told you, we are going to cover how to use these with phonics, multisyllabic words and phrases, and then sentences. And so we're going to start with phonics, and we're going to just kind of build up until we get to sentences. So, and just to let you know, you are getting a free editable template. So every single thing I show you today, you are going to get just a really easy type in. It's PowerPoint, but you can import it into Google Sheet or Google Slides. I've already done it. It works fine. And you'll be able to create these specifically for your students. So for a minute, I was like, oh, I should just make them for all of these word lists, but we all have different word lists. We're all doing different word study programs. Our students have different word study groups. I know when I was teaching, I had 3 different word study groups, and they had different lists. And so instead of just making a ready-made resource, I made this so that you can take it, make it your own, totally editable, and you're going to see the examples I show you today. You'll probably think of 5 or 6 different examples and ways to kind of just go off in a different direction. So it's really kind of open-ended, but you will get this. It is a PowerPoint. You can import it into Google Slides. The formatting will be fine. I used very simple fonts that are available on Google and most computers, so there should be no formatting issues. And you can use it digitally with your students, or you can print it. So the slides are 8.5 by 11. So you can make these a printable. You can create whatever pyramids you want and then print them. And then have your students, I'll show you examples of how your students would be able to do them just on a print version. And then also you can use PowerPoint because I have added animations, even if you don't, if you decide not to print them and you want to use them as a Google presentation, a slide, or a PowerPoint, your students can actually just click and the word pyramids, or depending, I guess we'll just call them reading or text pyramids, will animate and take that student to the next kind of progression. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to start with phonics. So here's an example of using these text pyramids with phonics. You can use, it doesn't matter what phonics skill you're working with, these are one-syllable words. So you can use it for, consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E, digraphs, blends, all the skills. And basically what your students do is they start at the top and they make the sound, and then the second column, they move down to the second row, they move to the second row and they make the two sounds, and they're making them in isolation. So and then the third is then putting them together, and then the fourth is fa, and then fa, or fa, and then fan. So they are, it's like a slow progression, and like I said, it's pretty explicit. Now, if you're going to use the digital version, like a PowerPoint you're going to make for them, then they'll just click on the arrow key, and then it will automatically animate. So this will appear, F will appear first, FA, each row will appear. If you decide to print these, you want these to be like a low text center, then just give your student a little index card. And again, you're going to want to model this for them, but you'll just show them how to kind of slide the index card down after each row and go through this progression. So that's an example of how to use this for phonics. If you are working with older students, then you can also do this with I'm just going to back up too. In the editable version, you're able to put your skill here. So for instance, you'll type in, if you're just doing something like silent E, then you would put your skill in there. And that's just so for your record keeping and you to keep, for you to keep things organized. But you'll always be able to type in the specific skill. Another reason why I like these is because not only are we able to use this with various reading levels, but even at each reading level, we can hit on different skills depending on the words you choose to create these pyramids. Okay, so let me just move on to the next part. So here is an example for older students. So this would be 3-syllable words, and specifically the skill they would be working on would be open syllables. Now again, you're going to adapt this. You're going to create this for whatever your word study program is, whatever vocabulary list. You can use this for vocabulary lists. It's fine. It's so open-ended and customizable that you can use pretty much any words you want. So here's an example of open syllables, but of course, if you have a word study unit on closed syllables and there are 3 syllable words, you could add those. You could use affixes. So if you're if you're studying certain prefixes or suffixes, you can base these on that. And then you can also incorporate words to your etymology. And because we don't just have 3-syllable words, you also will have a template for 4-syllable words. So you'll be able to do the exact same thing for the 4-syllable words. Now, what I love about this particular, when we're talking about syllabication or of words, first, it helps students start to see the word parts. Some of our students naturally have wonderful orthographic memories, and they see the word parts kind of jump out at them, but we always have students who need a more explicit kind of breakdown. And so this is exactly what that provides. They're able to see all of the syllables. They're able to see if there's roots or affixes. They can see them all. And that helps them when they see the word in context to actually look at those word parts. So it really helps them to see the word parts. All right. Oh, and here is an example of, this is just another example of 5-syllable words. And in this example, the skill that they're working on is suffixes. And so the suffix here is able, ible, and those are broken down accordingly. But what I love about it, especially if you're teaching an explicit word study program, is that they can really start to see those patterns. So, you know, this is a common spelling error. Is it able? Is it ible? And when they see it broken down in syllables, they start to see patterns as to why, in what cases would you use an I, and in what cases will you be using an A. So, and again, this applies to all sorts of spelling patterns when you break it down by syllables. Okay. All right. So, one of the other, oops, I think I have my stuff here. I'll just put it all up. So one thing you can do is go and start incorporating more grammar and actually start talking about phrases. So we've moved from phonics to multisyllabic words and now to phrases. And phrases can be, you can start off with these really short, high frequency phrases, like noun phrases, verb phrases, some short prepositional phrases. And the reason why I love to focus on phrases is because it really helps with porosity. One of the things we do as fluent readers, and we've talked about this before, is we scoop words, or we gather words, and we know how to do that when we're reading fluently. And our disfluent readers really don't. They're really reading those phrases word by word. So this gives them that ability to start to build the phrase and then learning how to say it together all at once. I have this, and I made it also a version for you that's a 4-word phrase. So if you have slightly longer high frequency phrases, you could use that. And then going deeper into phrases, you can start to do longer prepositional phrases. So again, this kind of gets more into the grammar, and you can even have them identify the preposition and the object of the preposition so that you're reinforcing some of those grammatical concepts as well. But again, it is building that whole idea of text phrasing. And, you know, again, we've talked about this before, phrase boundaries are mostly invisible. They don't have any kind of graphical representation in the text, except for commas every once in a while. And so the only way to know when to scoop up a phrase when you're reading it is because you understand what you're reading. So it's important that students start to identify these phrases, and that's also in kind of hand in glove with comprehension as well. Another example, if you wanted to go deeper and kind of get more into the grammar aspect, you can do adverbial phrases. You could add clauses as well. Again, it's really pretty limitless as far as how you want to create these. And then finally, it's kind of like putting it all together. You can do sentences. And with sentences, so unlike the phrases, it is not word by word, because remember, we don't want students reading word by word for sentences. We want them scooping up phrases. And so what you'll do is you will chunk the phrases by line. So if you look, it's Louis, and then Louis was startled. So was startled would be the verb phrase, and then that's a complete sentence, so you can put a period there, but then you can move on to it. Louis was startled by the crash. We're adding a prepositional phrase, or actually that might be an adverbial phrase. Louis was startled by the crash of thunder. There could be a period there too. Louis was startled by the crash of thunder while in his tent. And then Louis was startled by the crash of thunder while in his tent last night. So you can see we're adding phrase by phrase, but it allows them to kind of see the progression of, first of all, expanding sentences, which I know is a standard for a lot of you guys with working with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. But also they get to see that they're adding a phrase, and that phrase is like a unit in fluency. It's not discrete words. They really kind of go together. And so this helps with prosody in that way as well. Okay, so I'm gonna first show you where to go. So write this down. It's going to be a blog post, but right now it's just an opt-in. So you're gonna go to bit.ly/pyramids and text pyramids, excuse me. So capital T, capital P. I'm gonna try to copy and paste this inside the comments too, just so you can have it, because I'm going to move on and actually show you what the templates look like. So you'll just enter your email, name and email address, and then the PowerPoint will be sent to you. If you don't have PowerPoint, just import it into Google Slides and you'll be able to open it. Let me try, I'm going to just grab this really quickly and put it in the comments. So if you can just go to it right now, hopefully. And then also, did that go in? I'm not seeing it. Let me know if the comment for you. Oh, there it goes. There's a little bit of a delay. So there's the URL. If you missed it or you can't find it in the comments, you can always watch this again. But I do want to show you what the template looks like. So I have it here on my desktop. Let's close that one out. And I'm not gonna make it so ginormous because then I can't really see what I'm doing. So this is what you'll be getting. And it's completely, so you can, again, you can use this digitally or you can print it. It's up to you. These are all something you can type in, so you can change this. This would be the phonics one. You can type in here. This would be the 3 syllables. 4 syllables, 5-syllable words, 3-word phrases. Again, you can add if you're making like certain word lists or you already have certain, go back to the words, you already have certain word lists that you're using, you can type that in here and customize that. They are animated. Some of the, like for this, the word kind of the text goes over, but it won't once you type in your words. This one is for phrases. Remember phrases, I made 2 for phrases that have 6 words and phrases that have 5 words. So again, if you're wanting to add this or kind of create a grammar unit on this, you could do prepositional phrases. And then you have the sentences as well, so that you can make, these will all be separate boxes so that it all fits and is formatted properly. You can always change the, animations however you want. You don't have to use the animations. You can just save this as a PDF and give it to your students on a device. And again, they can use a Post-it note or a card, like an index card, and just kind of go down. It's probably something with your emergent readers that you're going to want to model for them first. But again, and you can animate it however you want if you decide to use it digitally, or you can print it. So that's it, 24 minutes. I'm under 30, so it's still a mini PD. Again, I'm just gonna quickly go back to, I think I might have, yeah, I think I closed it out, but that's fine. So go to that bit.ly, let me put it in one more time. And again, you're going to use these, Michelle. I wish I'd written down an example of each of these words, an actual sound. So yeah, you're going to be able to use this with whatever words you want. You're just going to choose 3-syllable words, 4-syllable words. If you're doing phonics, you're going to use pretty much whatever existing order you're using or vocabulary program you're using to create your versions. All right. Have a wonderful evening, night. Some of you, it's 1 a.m. So that would be you, Nally. Get to bed. And I will see you again soon. Enjoy.